Welcome to yet another episode of Marketing for Founders. Today we are going to talk about the process of increasing in size. Wait a second, don't be confused. I'm specifically talking about growth. Every founder out there is looking for growth. We're going to discuss driving growth in a cookieless world in today's episode. My name is Ajish Venugopalan and I'm the founder and CEO for AJ and VG Media. With various data protection laws coming in by countries or states or from different geographies, from different industrial bodies, how is it going to impact a founder or how is it going to impact a business? First and foremost, they're trying to do is protect the rights of the consumer. And why are they also coming up with the data protection laws? Because there is a sense of security threat from country to country. For instance, a country can be threatened by its neighbor. So in order to protect different territorial boundaries and the interest of the consumers, various data protection acts have started coming in line. And the biggest way that it is going to impact a founder is it's going to prohibit you from serving personalized advertisement.
There are two sides to the privacy debate. On one end, you have policy regulators or countries or states which are deciding what rules and regulations should they put in place to guard yours and mine's personally identifiable information, which is called PII, right? On the other end, you have advertisers, tech companies which are trying to understand how they can make sure that they can work within these rules and frameworks that have been set by the policy regulators. To give an example, for instance, Safari, which is one of the most popular browsers out there, owned by Apple, put a host of rules and regulations to govern their browser. So they have they've stopped cross-site tracking, they've stopped cookie-based tracking, they're hiding users' IP address, right? And they have put safeguards in place to make sure that users are not shown personalized ads, right? And as a result, there is a lot of hue and cry from companies like Facebook and others because their whole business depends on showing personalized content to users.
Suraj has just iterated that Apple's Safari browser has already prohibited cross-tracking and prohibited the cookies. What are the founders really going to do if that happens? And very soon, Mozilla Firefoxes and Google Chromes of the world are going to prohibit the cookies as well. That essentially means that you will no longer be able to rely on third-party data sources and it will prevent you from serving customized ads. The only way that you can ensure that you reach out to the right prospects, or you reach out to the right set of target audience is by collecting first-party data. Let me help you understand what first-party data means. Any data that has come in through your website, any data that has come in through your own mobile app that you're using or selling in the market is your first-party data. This can be collected using a newsletter, this can be collected using an enquiry form, or this can be collected using a simple registration. But the fact is, it has to happen directly on your platform. Then it becomes the first-party data. Now, the current data governance laws or data protection laws are going to force all the business owners out there to relook at your investment priorities. And we suggest that you prioritize your investments on data platforms.
So Ajish mentioned the importance of having first-party data. What exactly is first-party data? First-party data is all the personally identifiable information that you have about your target audience. Name, email address, phone number, designation, name of the company that you work for. So let's assume you've collected this data, right? You collected this data from your website, your application, right? The more important question that you should ask yourself is, how do you manage this data, right? So most companies have something called as a data governance framework, which focuses on making sure that the data that you collect is current, complete, and up to date. Why is this important? So let's say, for instance, you have a database of around 40,000 contacts, right? What you will notice on a regular basis is that the email IDs are inaccurate. So you have hard bounces and soft bounces, or somebody has retired from a company, or somebody is no longer with the company, right? So what do you do in that case? Not having a data governance framework would mean that you will constantly run into challenges once you are running email marketing campaigns. So say for instance you have an email marketing solution which you use for sending out emailers. What you also need to do is build a marketing technology stack to make sure that your data governance framework actually works. So you need email validation tools to make sure that the email addresses that you're collecting are valid, right? What an email validation tool does is it sends a ping to your server to check whether the email ID actually exists or not. Besides this, you also need to enrich your data. How do you enrich your data? You have somebody's email address and now you want to know which company they work for and what is their current designation, or you want additional details, technographic and firmographic data about this contact, right? So you have to do integrations with Apollo, Lucia, Slintel, other database, third-party database providers to enrich the data that you have, right? So ultimately, what are you trying to do? You're trying to make sure that the data that you have is the most accurate and the complete data that you have about your customers. And with the technology stack that you're building in place, you're making sure that the database is constantly cleansed and enriched, right? Besides this, some manual cleanup might also be needed, right? If you're sending out an email and you see hard bounces and soft bounces, you would want to make sure that these data points are removed from your database, because in most cases, as far as email marketing is concerned, you are paying per contact, right? The lower the number of contacts, the lesser money you pay in terms of running your marketing campaigns, right? So I'm re-emphasizing the fact that if you're maintaining first-party data, make sure that you have a data cleansing, data enrichment program, which is backed by a good data governance framework, which needs to be followed.
While Suraj has emphasized on data governance, which is a process that ideally fits in after you have started gathering your first-party data, I'm going to briefly touch upon how do you really go about collecting first-party data. And you have multiple channels available with you, depending on your business. One is primarily your website. Two could be your different ways of lead generation strategies that you apply. Third could be your mobile app, and so on and so forth. But in order to attract a customer, you should be able to provide great value to the customer. Unless and until you give great value and engage with the prospect of the customer in the right way, they are not going to give their permission or they're not going to agree to you using their data to send them personalized sales promotional campaigns. So first and foremost, you should have a great marketer who will drive great customer engagement strategy. Now, in order to drive a great customer engagement strategy, you primarily need two things. One is great content, without saying. Two, you need automation technology. And while you can do this online, there are offline tactics as well to engage customers and create meaningful relationship with them. Some of those could be events or customer roundtables or creating a customer advisory board and so on and so forth, or simply by sending them a very, very sensible, meaningful newsletter, as long as you stick to the quality of the content. Now, these are some of the tactics that you can do, but one of my favorite methodologies of creating first-party data is community building. While we will come again with a different episode on community marketing, let me sort of try and also emphasize a bit on real-time customer engagement online. So there are multiple technologies which you can use to understand the clickstream data on your website, and basis the clickstream data, you can drive various use cases and engage with them using a simple poll to an inquiry form to a video to dynamic content rendering. All those features are available in terms of allowing you to create great online customer engagement strategy as well. Having said that, once you've got this data, even before you get into data governance, it's quite important for you to look at integration possibilities. You should integrate this data with your CRM, and you should also look at integrating that data with your campaign management tool that you are probably using, so that you're able to disseminate this information in the most effective way. We will come again with yet another episode of Marketing for Founders. Until then, this is Ajish Venugopalan. Thank you very much.